Right now at 4, heavy hearts in Raleigh. 5 people dead and 1 woman in critical condition this afternoon. And we're learning more about the victims in the Raleigh mass shooting. Neighbors in the Hedingham community reeling this afternoon, still processing that deadly act of violence that sent shockwaves through the city of Raleigh. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joel Brown.
And I'm Lauren Johnson. Let's start this hour with a timeline of what we know about this mass shooting. The teenage suspect shot 7 people. 2 survived. A 59-year-old woman identified as Marcel Gardner is in critical condition at Wake Med.
The suspect identified as a 15-year-old white male. He's also in critical condition right now. We also now know the shooting began on a neighborhood street in that East Raleigh community and then moved onto the Greenway. We've also been working through last night to learn more about the victims killed in this horrific act of violence. There's 52-year-old Nicole Connors. Her neighbors in Hedingham say she was always friendly. And 49-year-old Susan Carnatz, a wife and mother of 3 boys. There's 34-year-old Mary Marshall, who was outside yesterday walking her dog on the Greenway. And 29-year-old Gabriel Torres, the off-duty Raleigh police officer who was on his way to work when he confronted the gunman. The 5th victim is the youngest victim, 16-year-old James Thompson. He was a junior at Knightdale High School. The principal at Knightdale High sharing the tragic news today in a letter to parents, offering condolences to the families of all the victims, also alerting families about counseling services available now for students. Today, the school system postponed today's football game between Knightdale and nearby Rollsville High. It's now slated for Monday. Tonight's homecoming dance canceled as well.
According to Raleigh police, the deadly violence erupted just after 5 o'clock yesterday evening. The first 911 call came in around 5:13 about a person shot near the 6000 block of Osprey Drive. From there, the shooting moved to the nearby Greenway, where more victims were also shot. Police warning the Hedingham community and nearby neighborhoods to shelter in place as the hunt started for that suspect. More than 4 hours later, RPD announcing they had the 15-year-old suspect in custody, arrested at a nearby barn in the 1500 block of McConnell Oliver Drive. The 911 calls revealing the panic and fear that played out in that quiet neighborhood.
We heard some shots outside, and I looked out my window, and the neighbor is on the ground, I think. There's 2 people. There's somebody laying by the bush, and there's somebody laying on the porch. Oh my gosh, it's 2 people.
A white kid run out here with a shotgun, he shot somebody.
Eyewitness News has extensive team coverage of this mass shooting that has happened right here at home. Elena Athens on the investigation.
Plus, the latest on the lives lost, Cindy Bay, Josh Chapin, and Diane Wilson learning more about those 5 people senselessly killed and heartbreaking violence that has us all reeling for answers right now. Let's start with Diane Wilson. She's learning more about 34-year-old Mary Marshall. Diane.
Joel, you know, she was set to get married. Her fiance now mourning her loss. We are here in front of the Hedingham neighborhood, and you can see a small memorial has already started to form with flowers. Right beside the memorial, we're going to zoom over to the flags, also flying at half staff as this neighborhood just tries to deal with this tragic loss. The neighbor to Mary Marshall says she just can't believe her friend is gone. At just 34 years old, Mary Marshall gone. Her fiance, Robert Steele, posting on his Facebook page, "The love of my life, Mary Marshall, was killed last night by a cowardly individual. She was shot while walking our dog. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. My world has been completely destroyed."
Rob was out on the porch and I was consoling him, and then that's when he told me that about Mary, yes.
Sharon McDonald, Mary Marshall's neighbor, says she just listened.
From what I understand, the dog had gotten away from her, and in her effort to get the dog, she must have crossed paths with the young man, and who God only knows what happened then, but apparently she was caught in the crossfire.
The Neuse River Greenway right behind their homes. McDonald says Mary always looked out for her.
She was really nice. Always pleasant. Whenever we got packages and we weren't at home, she would put them in her house and leave a note on the door.
McDonald says as she tries to deal with the loss of her neighbor and friend, she still can't make sense of what happened in her neighborhood.
Too close to home, too close to home. I'm just so grateful to God that it wasn't home. You know, I hate it for Rob. I really do. My heart goes out to him and to everyone else who was truly impacted, but it was too close to home.
Too close to home, and to help this neighborhood deal with the tragedy, you can see that is the Hope Lutheran Church in Wake Forest. They established a feeding ministry and they set up shop here, and they're here to feed the community. Anyone that needs a meal, anyone that was impacted by yesterday's tragedy, they'd like them to come out here for a meal, fellowship. They are going to have a comfort dog here and also counselors to just try and give them someone to talk to and know that this community is here for them because they have suffered such a great loss. Joe and Lauren?
Too close to home. I think a lot of us woke up feeling that way today. Diane Wilson live at Hedingham for us. Diane, thank you. Also this afternoon, Eyewitness News working to confirm the identity of the 15-year-old suspect who remains in critical condition right now at Wake Med.
We do know the identity of the 16-year-old victim, James Thompson, who was a junior at Knightdale High School. Elena Athens is live there. Elena, you were there. Students left for the day. Describe the mood of what was surely a really dark Friday for that school community.
Yeah, at least one of the students I spoke with extremely upset and disturbed by the connection this school has to this mass shooting. The Wake County School District says that grief counselors were on campus today and they will continue to be here all of next week to help students. Now to the investigation. We know that the suspect is in custody right now. We met with the Wake County District Attorney, Lauren Freeman, within the last hour, and she says that her office will do everything it can to seek justice for the community. A juvenile petition has been filed in this case.
Based on the mass fatality and the violence here, we do intend to seek charges against him as an adult and to proceed to Superior Court with this case.
We still don't know why the 15-year-old went on a killing rampage, wreaked such havoc on a community. The teen finally apprehended after a long standoff with police around 9:30 last night. I spoke with one eyewitness who was terrorized. He was sheltering in place while law enforcement was infiltrating his neighborhood, searching for the suspect.
Police with the long guns coming down the street, in the house. You know, close the garage, get out of the way, because you know, we weren't expecting that much gunpowder. And they're just going between every house with their guns, with the long guns out.
So at last check, the suspect was in the hospital with critical injuries. Police still don't know a motive or what kind of weapon was used, although some neighbors and eyewitnesses say it was a shotgun. We're live in Knightdale right now. Elena Athens, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
Elena, thank you. And that mass shooting hitting the Raleigh Police Department, Officer Gabriel Torres among the 5 people killed. He was a husband and a father of a baby girl. Police say the teen suspect shot the off-duty officer as he was leaving home for work. Officer Torres is home just a few feet away from the Greenway. Josh Chapin continuing our team coverage over at the Raleigh Police Department. Josh, what else are you hearing about this fallen officer?
Well, Joel, also to follow up on your off-duty comment, I think any officer worth his grain of salt will tell you that once they're heading to work, as Gabriel Torres was yesterday, they would tell you that they are on duty and ready to protect and serve. The first thing you'll notice here, RPD headquarters on Six Forks Road. This is home base for RPD. The flags flying at half staff as they are around the rest of the state to mourn the loss of the 5 people killed yesterday, especially here, though, to mourn the loss of one of their own, Officer Gabriel Torres. And to share these pictures with you of Officer Torres, his wife, and his young daughter, I don't have much else to say other than it just breaks your heart. A young daughter, as you see from the pictures, understanding is that Torres hadn't been in the force that long, just a couple of years, maybe 2 to 3 years. And Torres, from these pictures and according to sources, served in the Marines, serving our country as well. As we pulled up here, we also saw Chief Stella Patterson get out of the car right to my right here. We asked her staff if she'd be making any more comments tonight. I was told no. The chief obviously has had quite a day dealing with that, coming back from Dallas from a professional standards conference last night. So likely she is pretty wiped out. There are also grief counselors in the parking lot available to the officers and their families. When we do learn a bit more about Officer Torres, of course, we will bring that to you. Joel and Lauren, back to you.
All right, Josh Chapin, thank you. And a 33-year-old Raleigh K-9 officer was also injured in the shooting rampage. Officer Casey Joseph Clark was treated for his injuries and released from the hospital.